Hello, good evening. Welcome to yet another session. These sessions happen every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Indian Standard Time. Hope I am audible. Okay, so let us start the session. So today is going to be a altogether different session, in the sense, yeah, Arvind, I think you can hear me, right, Arvind? Good evening. So today is going to be a slightly different session because, last week we were talking about food and how, we discussed about food last week. But this week, there were a few requests as to people who wanted to know as to what Ayurveda says about what to eat, how to eat, when to eat, and all those things. So this is going to be slightly a different session. Okay, this reference which I'm going to talk right now is only from one textbook, Ashtanga Hridaya. Okay, a lot of rules have been set as to before one consumes food, a responsible person before he consumes food, what all he has to do and how he should prepare himself before he starts eating food. Okay, so it is just one shloka which I've taken, and I'll just try to explain how this thing happens. Okay, hi Masya, Arvind, Oro, Anirudh, Hem, Vaidya, and all. Okay, so let's start. So dietary rules in Ayurveda. What are rules have been set? Okay, lot of things might be difficult to follow in this age. Okay, so we can have those discussions how to go work around it, but it's very interesting. Okay, so this is a slide which I've taken from the previous week. Okay, so you know that quantity wise, always eat half the stomach and a quarter have to be left for water, and water in the sense liquid, and quarter for space, so that digestion happens properly. So quality wise, it should be of all the 6 tastes, and predominantly it should not be extremely dry food. Okay, eat warm and fresh, and eat peacefully, eat slowly, not very fast, not very slow. We'll come into all those things in detail. And eat only when you are hungry. This thing we actually spoke last week, and this week is it's a different thing. It's one big shloka which is from Ashtanga Hridaya, the 8th chapter. It's called Matra Shitiyam. Okay, Shitiyam means you eat, and what all rules you have got to eat. So let's start. Okay, the rule 1. Okay, it's one by one. I've written one by one the points which Acharya Vagbhata has told. We can discuss on this. Okay, Kale means on time. See that you always eat food on time, so that your body gets used to it. Like you always have the sleep wake cycle on time. Likewise, food also has to be eaten on time. Okay, Satmyam. Satmyam is something which you are used to. You are used to since birth is one part of it. Second part of it is what you are genetically used to. In the sense, see, me being from Kerala, I am actually used to food which is being cooked in coconut oil, and that is Satmya for me for generations together. Okay, even though a lot of studies say that coconut oil is the best cooking oil in the world, I don't agree to that. Coconut oil is best for people like me who consume coconut oil. For you, probably from Tamil Nadu, it might be sesame oil. From Andhra, it may be groundnut oil. Different parts of the world, different oils. That is actually Satmya for you. Okay. Shuchi, food has to be clean. Hitam, the apt food. In whatever condition you are right now, if you're not feeling extremely hungry, or if you're slightly feverish, things have changed. So what is apt in that condition also have to be consumed. Snigdha, which I said last time, it can't be extremely dry. It doesn't, see, I've just given the translation oily. It doesn't mean that. See, it actually means you can mix a little bit of ghee or oil or whatever it is. Don't make it extremely dry. Ushna here actually means hot. That means can't be extremely hot. So it has to be warm. Laghu, light. That means which digests pretty fast. You can't give your system You can't let your system take a long time for it to digest. It's only, see, just like breathing or passing motions or urinating, digestion is also a process. You don't give it too much of importance. Okay, put in food which also digests pretty fast. Then this is about one very good thing. Okay, shuchi bhakta jana hridam bhojanam. That means food that has been cooked by people who are clean and who bhakta jana, who actually adore you or who respect you. So that means the cook or the person, can be your mom, it can be whoever cooks at home, can be yours. Somebody if you are cooking yourself, you should have self-respect. So people who actually respect you are the people who have to cook, not somebody who doesn't have anything to do with, who doesn't know who's going to eat, who doesn't add that little of love into it. It doesn't work. So the cooking process has to be done by somebody who is clean and who respects you. Okay. Then snata. Okay, after taking a shower, you're slowly getting into it. Okay, in detail. Then dhauta pada kara anana. Okay, after washing your pada, feet, kara, your hands, anana, and your face. Okay, step by step you're building into it. Okay, then pitrun devan adhitin balakan gurun tarpayitva. Tarpayitva means actually, giving them or serving them. Serving whom? Pitrun, ancestors. Devan, gods. That means, offering it to your ancestors and your gods. Balakan, to the kids first. Okay. Then gurun, to your teachers. After that, this is something which you have to do, which before you start consuming food. Okay. Then what? Pratipanna parigrahan tiracha pratyaveksha. Pratyaveksha means to oversee or to oversee or to see that it's been done. What? Pratipanna parigrahan, that means people or things which are under your protection. It could be pets, it could be servants, or it can also be trees or plants, whether they have been watered properly. So after that also has been, you do it yourself, or after that also has been taken care of, then is your thing. Then what? Snatva, after you have taken a shower. That's there in the previous slide. I can show that. Okay, snatva. Okay, after snata. Then dhautap, after you have washed your hands, feet, and your face. Now what? Now atmanam samyak samikshya. Atmanam means self. Atma, that means yourself. Samyak means really well. Samikshya actually means you are self-analyzing yourself. What are you self-analyzing? How am I feeling right now? What do you think I am actually hungry, or in what situation I am right now? Okay, that means you are actually getting into yourself. Atmanam samyak samikshya kshudhavan. That means, are you actually hungry? So you are not supposed to consume food if you are not hungry. I think you know that. Okay, so are you hungry? So you are trying to analyze other things and also seeing whether you are hungry or not. Then what do you do? Okay, Vivikthara, that means in a corner. You are actually going to a corner, or you find your own place. Tanmana. Mana means what? Mind. Tat means in that. That means you are putting your mind in that. In what? In the process of you going to eat. Tanmana. Okay. Now people don't do that. They watch TV, they look at the mobile, they're doing something else. They are not even focusing on what they're eating. Okay. So tanmana. Anindan. Ninda means to actually complain or to curse. Heavy meaning is to curse, but ninda is also to complain. Anindan, without complaining. Because as we said, for the person who is actually cooking for you, somebody who respects you and who cooks with a lot of love. So you should not have any complaints. So anindan, abruvan, without talking. Okay. Na ati druta, na ati vilambitam. That means not very fast or not very slow. That means you don't take all the time in the world to eat food, or don't actually eat pretty fast. Don't do that. Okay. So na ati druta ati vilamban. Ishtay saha ashniyat. Ashniya means to eat. Ishtayhi saha. with the people whom you love. That means your family or your friends or people who are close to you. Sit with them. Sit with them what? And not gossip and not talk. Abruven. Tan manaha. Focusing on what you are doing and then have your food. Bhojayet. Have your food. So this is very, 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 very important. Okay. So these are the rules which Ashtanga Hridaya has set for you to eat food. Okay. Now he also says what kind of food you're not supposed to eat. They have got huge discussion, but I've taken a little bit of gist of that. Okay. Avoid these foods. What? Trunakesha Justam. If you see hair or grass or something which is not supposed to be a part of the food, if you that, don't eat it. Punah Ushni Karanam. Reheated, which we always do, not supposed to consume reheated food. Okay, Shakha Avarana Bhuyishtam. Shaka means what? Green leafy. Okay, Avarana means pulses. If your food is predominantly green leafy vegetable or too much predominantly pulses, not supposed to be consumed. What does that mean? You should always have a balanced food. If you cut down on rice and increase the sabji, the pulses, the protein more, those things are not permitted. Eat a balanced food. Atyushna, food which is very, very hot. Ati lavana, too salty. Okay, if these are the things in your food, you are not supposed to eat. Okay, so these are just outlines of rules which have been set by the Vagbhata Acharya. So for you to eat, you may start asking your questions. Okay, so these things, if you follow, so these are ideal situations. Okay, but depends. So this I'll tell you, this book was written close to about 1,500, 1,600 years back. So what happened there? 400, 500 AD. The times were different, and they were living in a different place, different environment. Okay, things were different, but how do we actually try to understand what Acharya has told and how can we apply this in this world? We have to know that also, right? So you may ask your questions. So this is from the 8th chapter of Ashtanga Hridaya. You can actually go through the text if you really want to. Okay, so it is, I think, 36th to the 39th shloka of Ashtanga Hridaya Sutra Sthana, 8th chapter. Atyushna means hot temperature wise, or it means spicy as well. Ushna actually means heat here, Arvind. Okay, but there is one word for spicy, that is ushana. Okay, so here he actually meant extremely hot. Don't consume, people. How will you consume? It's very difficult for you to consume. So there are people who take extremely hot foods. Don't take extremely hot food. Wait for it to slightly cool down a little bit. Consume warm foods. Sorry, Arvind, I didn't put that question there. Sorry. Okay. Atyushna means hot temperature wise, and that doesn't mean spicy as well. Spicy is ushana, and ushna means hot. Okay, not spicy. So don't consume food which is extremely hot. Wait for it to slightly cool down. Warm food is actually advisable. Okay. And along with this, could you please brief about Onam and its significance? Okay, Onam is a festival which is celebrated in Kerala. We believe that the ruler of this land, okay, Mahabali, okay, he comes back to see his people once a year. Okay, and it is the only festival in the world. Note this point. Okay, it's the only festival in this world which is celebrated by every Malayali, irrespective of what faith he is from. He could be a Hindu, he could be a Christian, he could be a Muslim, he could be a Jain, he could be a Buddhist. It is celebrated by every Malayali because it is the king of Kerala who is coming, who passes through Kerala for 10 days to see how his people are. So Onam is being celebrated every year in Kerala. Okay. So the see Onam basically comes after the harvest season, and it is actually a lot of food, abundance of food, and so it's celebration here. No, the salt intake in individual food forms is taken, but uh, see, Hem Vaidya, I don't know what we mean by too much. See, if, for example, it again depends from person to person with taste. If 10 liters of sabji is being prepared, then you might be adding about 100 grams of salt in it. But that 100 grams of salt is okay for 10 liters of sabji. Okay, and you are only consuming this much. So amount of salt you're consuming is only, see, only very little. It is not, if the dish is extremely salty, then avoid that dish is what Acharya is telling. Okay, don't consume too much of salt. Yes, Mr. Bhupendra Kaka. What you said is true. That comes actually in a different context. Uh, Acharya says that you yes have to sit on the floor, but there's one other thing which you have to note. You are sitting on the floor on a pitha. Okay, you can't sit directly on the floor. So it will be a seat which is slightly wooden seat. We call that a pitha. You can sit on it, and the food that is being served is at a lower level. Okay, so every time you have to eat food, you have to bend and then eat. So every time you bend and eat, there is pressure applied on your tummy, and you cannot overeat. When you're sitting on the floor and you're bending every time and eating food, you cannot overeat. And that is the reason why your digestion becomes okay. Okay, your digestion is better when you sit on the floor because you can't overeat. Okay, yes, you have to sit on the floor and eat. How can we try to overcome the reheating clause? I understand that, Tarun. It is a very difficult question to handle because nowadays people reheat multiple times. I would say, let me start with in those days. In those days, they used to have food only twice, once in the morning and one early in the evening. So they used to cook food in the morning, okay, and have it and finish it off. And for the evening, they'll again cook a small meal and they used to have it off. So they used to eat it then and there and finish it off. Okay. Now, as I said, things have changed. People, everybody is working, and especially when you go to countries like the US, Saturday, Sunday they cook for the whole week. They put it in the freezer. They take a little bit every day, reheat it, and eat it, consume it. Okay, so according to Ayurveda, we believe that once you leave it overnight, there's a lot of tamas into it. But modern studies have tried to. They say that food when you store it in the refrigerator and the freezer, it doesn't get spoiled. Plus, its nutrition is also preserved. I'm not very sure about it. So how can we work around it is actually a very good question. That is something, I don't have a clear-cut answer to it. I would say the best thing you can do is never carry forward the food to the next day at least. Okay, you cook in the morning, you finish it at least by the end of the day. Don't carry forward to the next day. Okay, reheating again, yes, you make it slightly warm, but don't reheat it to extreme high temperature. You slightly want to warm it, you warm it and have it, but don't heat it very high is the only way I could tell you. Glycemic index, it depends from person to person is also one thing. Okay. So again, if you see, you'll see a lot of people doing reels on Instagram. They say, I'm going to consume this rice and I'm going to check the way my sugar is going to peak. It depends from person to person, his digestive capacity, and as I said, Satyamya, what he's used to. Okay. Ayurveda does not contradict with anything, Subhash. Okay. Ayurveda says very clearly, you eat a balanced food and you do exercises on a regular basis, you sleep really well, you follow a disciplined life, you will be fine. Okay, glycemic index and all, yes, you have to look into it if you are sick and your diabetes is you are diabetic, then you have to look into glycemic index. Otherwise, I personally feel you don't have to be extremely obsessed with the glycemic index. You have this, and how much is my sugar going to spike? Your body is well trained, and it has got the intelligence to manage all those things, those peaks. But if it really goes out of control, then it's something where you have to look at glycemic. Otherwise, don't bother too much. Yes, Cynthia. If you eat with your hands, you can actually feel the temperature. And eating with the hand is very, very, very necessary. It's like, you touch is something. You When you touch the food, and when you mix the food yourself, it makes a huge difference. It also, the movements of the fingers actually makes a huge difference to your brain. Okay, the way the food feels, it is very important. So eating is not only for the tongue, it is for your eyes, for your nose. You smell it, you feel it, and you sometimes you can hear it also. So it is very important to use your hands to eat. Okay, and only thing is that, as we said before, wash your hands properly and then sit to eat. Enjoy the food with your hands. Is walking after a meal recommended? Midam bhuktva shadam japtva gata shatapadam vamabhage shayanasya vishad pikkim prayojanam. Okay, that in the sense, midam bhuktva, eat little. Midam means little, eat little. Shadam japtva, then uh, you know what, your prayers 100 times. So that means wait for some time. Okay, gata shatapadam, then walk 100 steps. That's it. Vama bhage shayanas. And then when you lie down on your left side, Bhishad Bhikim Prayojan. Then why do you need a doctor? That means that is the best thing for you to do. Eat little, wait for some time, walk about 100 steps. Don't overdo your exercises. Okay. So walk a little bit, take a stroll, let the foot settle, and then you can rest. Okay. So walking is okay. Exercise, not very good. Any good solution, medicine, oil for dandruff in teenagers? Oh yeah, there are a lot of oils. There is one oil which is called Dhurdhura Patradi Tailam, okay, which is actually made from Dhatura leaf and the Dhatura seeds. That works wonders for dandruff, but it also depends upon a lot of factors. So if you have got a lot of dandruff and it is not going, then it is better you go and consult an Ayurvedic doctor. They will recommend what other things you have to do, also your diet suggestions. Okay, and I would say sometimes dandruff actually spreads. Wherever you are, always use your personal towel. Okay, otherwise you can actually infect somebody, or when you use somebody else's, you can get infected from that person also. And diet suggestions, I would always say, don't go for food which are very difficult to digest. Okay, but the moment you consume food which are difficult to digest, all diseases above the clavicle, okay, they actually go up, including hair fall, ear issues, eye issues. Because if you are always in the process of eating food and heavy food, your blood supply is always here. Okay, your blood supply doesn't reach the upper part of the body. So eat less. Okay, and other things, yes, if you consult a doctor, he'll let you know. But I would say eat moderate and actually start doing a lot of physical activities. Okay, and suppose if you've got too much of long hair, cut it short, get it more exposed to wind and sun. Nothing like wind and sun which can help you get rid of dandruff. Okay, Hem Vaidya. Does not to reheat mean reheating food that's kept in the fridge overnight? What about making food, freezing it, and consuming it over a week? I've heard many people doing it these days. Curious. See, How do I try to explain this? See, okay, let us take an example of a vegetable. The moment you pluck the vegetable from the plant, okay, you know that it's been plucked, it is going towards putrefaction, right? It is getting destroyed. So what you do is you actually cut it into a piece and you have cooked it. You have taken it to the next level. So once vegetable is not cooked, okay, it can stay for long. The moment you cut it and cook it or expose it and you cut and cook it, it is again, you are actually speeding the putrefaction process, okay, of food. What you do is, if you consume it within the day, it's fine. But what you do is you put it inside the freezer. Putting it inside the freezer, in my opinion, doesn't, it can probably slow down the putrefaction a little bit. It doesn't, it will not prevent putrefaction. I don't want to use this example, but still I'm using it. You have seen dead bodies which have been preserved in ice and all those things in different parts of the world. Okay, might be 500 years, 600 years, or might be 20 years, 20 years. See, that dead body also is putrefied, and just because there is no water inside it, it is actually stiffened. Okay, ice, because it's very cold, we call it as, but it's not preserved. Okay, so food continuously, the moment you cook it, okay, it is going towards putrefaction. So the faster you eat is always good. And yes, Lakshmi, as you said, people cook for a week, they put it inside the fridge, they take it, they reheat and eat it. Modern science says that it's not at all a problem, but Ayurveda does not say it is good. As much as possible, okay, try to avoid that. Cook fresh and eat. Okay, that's it, Lakshmi. Is there any medicine which works on purification of blood for the disease from dengue to hepatitis B? Okay, purification of blood. You have got people say detox drink, blood purifying. I don't totally agree to that. Okay, Rakta Shodhaka is a different thing, but purifying blood is a different thing. Okay, so when you try to increase the quality of the blood, or when you actually start eating something nutritious, when you eat food, ahara is basically digested, and the first product of that is rasa. Okay, that's the nutritious part of the body. And according to Ayurveda, the second thing which comes out of that rasa is rakta, is the blood. So if you consume good, nutritious food, okay, Shashikar, that is the first thing that can help you get better blood. Okay, if you're somebody who's consuming always preserved foods or packed foods or processed foods and expect yourself to be healthy, it's a bad choice. Okay, yes, there are certain things we say manjishtha actually helps improve the quality of food. Khadira helps, blood. Khadira also helps increase the quality of your blood. Yes, even black grapes also improves. So there are a lot of things which will improve the quality of your blood. Yes, provided your food and your lifestyle is also in sync with that. Okay, Shashikar. Any specific days I mentioned to eat non-veg food? See, now you have come to the religious part of it. Okay, Ayurveda is not basically a religious science. Okay, Ayurveda does not restrict yourself from eating non-veg on a daily basis. It does not say no, but it says which kind of non-veg to eat, what kind of non-veg not to consume on a daily basis. So a lot of rules and regulations are there. So religiously speaking, if you say, okay, Thursday I won't eat, Saturday for Shiva I don't eat, Thursday for Guru I don't eat, Tuesday for somebody else I eat, those are the rules which you can make for yourself. Okay, but Ayurveda does not say any of those things. Welcome, Tarun. Salty and sweet foods not to be consumed together in the same meal. Mr. Bhupendra, I don't think that is the way it has been mentioned. Okay, mainly what it means, we have got 6 tastes. Okay, I can give you the name: Madhura, sweet; Amla, sour; Lavana, salt; okay, Tikta, bitter; Katu, spicy; and 6, Kashaya, astringent. When you eat food, you have to basically start eating in that order. So food which is actually difficult to digest, okay, heavy foods, sthira foods which will stay for a longer time, has to be consumed in the beginning. So mostly predominantly sweet foods have to be consumed in the morning. When I mean sweet food, is not sweetened foods. Don't get confused. It's not laddu, jalebi, kheer, pastries. No. Rice is sweet, ghee is sweet, dal is sweet. So mix rice, dal, and ghee in the beginning and have it. It is sweet. Next, when you get, for a South Indian, when I look into sambar or pulusu, that is sour. So sour and salty food are supposed to be, tastes are supposed to be consumed in the middle of the food. Okay, sweet in the beginning, salt and sour in the middle, and last you can go to spicy. And spicy is in South India, we mix rasam, that is spicy, and at the end is what we take, buttermilk or chas, which is kashaya rasam. So you can have food which are predominantly sweet and predominantly salty in a meal, but not food which is sweet. So as I said, sweet is not sweetened. You should understand that. Okay, Subhash. How should we wash our hands before food? How does the sanitizer is a chemical, and if you overuse sanitizer, I get so many patients who have got skin issues and have got skin, their palms have been burnt and it's been disfigured because of continuous using of sanitizers. Overdoing things. Okay, washing your hands also, you don't have to wash your hands every time. Okay, you're overdoing. Even with water also is bad. Washing your hands normally with water would do if you are doing a daily duty. But if you're working somewhere, say for example a car mechanic, or if you're working with paints or something like that, then you have to properly wash your hands so that that paint or that food doesn't go inside. Otherwise, for a normal person, just washing with water is more than enough. And if there are some, I would say, if you focus too much on sanitation, then your immunity goes down. Okay, normal wash is enough. Any rules as to how long can we store the veggies and fruits after plucking from tree or plant? It has not been told. We don't see that reference too much, Arvind. But right now we get. See, if you look at, let us put the text as well. The text 1,500 years back, they used to directly pluck it from the field and have it. Whatever grew around their field, they never had the opportunity to import something from Australia, something from Mexico. Okay, even something from Tamil Nadu will not come to Kerala. Okay, so whatever grew in their place, they would pluck it and eat it. They were healthy. Now we are thinking too much, So whichever food, meat or food which comes to your Reliance fresh also would have been packed, might be 3 or 4 days back. Okay, so I would say eat it as early as possible, probably a day or two. Yes, people go to the market once a week. I do. If you have got the time, I would say make it at least thrice a week. Go into the market. Is it a cause for concern? If yes, Sriraj, let me put it this way. Intermittent fasting. I'm not trying to show intermittent fasting in a bad light, but the way I understand is intermittent fasting gives you the makes the eating window small and your fasting window longer. Okay. You'll feel good in the short term. Long term, I'm not very sure, because I see a lot of people who have got their energy drop because of following intermittent fasting for a long period of time. So here, if you look, people say that you have to consume your food before before sunset. That's what our elders used to do. But we pick and choose what is comfortable and convenient. We have our dinner early, might be 6 o'clock, but our elders used to sleep by 8 o'clock. We sleep only by 12 o'clock. So you have your food by 6. By 8 o'clock, it's digested and gone, and your metabolism kicks back because you are awake. Hope you're able to understand, Sriraj. So by the time but you have taken a vow that I will not eat after that. So even though you are hungry, you drink a little bit of water, you manage it, and you sleep through the day, and get up in the morning extremely hungry, which in my opinion is not the right thing. Okay, so I would say, practically speaking, if you're somebody who sleeps at about 11 o'clock, I would say bring it down to somewhere around 10 o'clock. Have your dinner at about somewhere around 7:30, and when you don't, the food need not be completely digested before you go to bed. Okay, during the process of digestion, you will feel sleepy. Go to bed, whatever. So your metabolism slows down. There's little food in your tummy, and that will actually, because there's food in your tummy, that will keep you sleeping. So it will take you through the night. By the time you get up in the morning, food is digested. You don't get up extremely hungry. Then slowly you take a walk. You probably go to the loo. You clean yourself. You slowly take a walk. By about 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, your hunger really starts coming. That is the ideal situation, Sriraj. Hope you're able to understand that. Is having Somf infused warm water good to have after all meals for all Prakriti people? Bhupin, this is actually a good question. A lot of people do that. But I'll tell you what we do in Kerala. Okay, especially in our family. We have got seasons where different doshas actually predominant. Okay, are predominant. During the rainy season, it's too much of vata. So in the rainy season, we drink jeera infused water. It's normally a half teaspoon of jeera to 1 liter of water. Okay, so by the time it comes to the cold seasons, okay, your kapha goes up and you want food to digest fast, so we infuse dry ginger, okay, sont in water. And when the hot season comes, you have got a choice, okay. We normally at home, you can do gol dhania infused water, okay. So somf water, all seasons for all Prakriti people might not be the right choice. I have internal tremors and light sensitivity, which seems to be either because of vitamin D deficiency or a side effect of vitamin D supplements. Yes, it could be because of the vitamin D supplements. It could be light sensitivity. Okay, so I think it's always good you can go through a blood test and see how your vitamin D levels are, and then you go. But I would say, have some really nutritious food, little bit of food, laghu bhojan, so digest properly. Okay, I always say this: you are not what you eat, you are not what you digest, so you are what you can digest. There's no point eating too many times and you're not able to digest it. Okay, so eat proper food, traditional food, as I said, satmya, what you are used to, what you are traditionally used to, eat that to bring your health back. Okay, light sensitivity and all, even people cannot stand sound, okay, cannot stand light. All those things are temporary phases. Once your health regains, you will feel better. Rush, I just answered that. Okay, supplement is, if your I would say if your iron is extremely low, then probably you'll have to supplement it, or if your vitamins. But don't get used to supplements. Supplements, see, vitamins, minerals, all those things are things which it's your body's job to actually take it from the food which you're consuming. Okay, that will happen only when you digest the food really well, and the absorption and assimilation happens properly. Okay, so 4 of you in a family, and if only you are iron deficient, other people are not, that means it's not that iron is not there in the food, it is that you are not digesting it or absorbing it. So that is what has to be worked on. So eat, as I said, eat food which you are used to, see that it digests properly, do systematic exercises, change a little bit of your lifestyle and all those things, you will be fine. Okay, you don't have to depend too much on supplements. Have replaced aluminum utensils, including pressure cooker. Yeah, I think it is actually, even though studies say that aluminum is okay, I'm not very convinced about it. Stainless steel in a way is okay, because stainless steel is actually iron hit, and it does not react too much, neither plus nor minus. So you can use, to a certain extent, you can use steel vessels to cook. It's fine, but aluminum vessels, I would say, not too much. Okay. Clay utensils are also okay, good, no problem. What are the significance of Arugampul? Okay, Arugampul in Tamil, it's a Tamil word, Arugampul. It is called Durva in Sanskrit, and in Malayalam it's called Karagapul. Okay, so when you go to all the parks in Chennai, and you will see there will be one guy standing there with aloe vera juice, with this grass. It's a grass, okay, this grass juice and a lot of juices. This Durva is something which will actually help you improve your digestion, and it is good against intestinal worms also. Okay, so it's actually good, but I don't want you to consume it on a daily basis, so that your body does not work. Okay, it is actually good. Arugampul is good. You have got something called Durvadikaram. We make oil also with Durvadikaram. Okay, it's called Durvadikaram. It is actually good, very good for any itching. It removes all the itches, because any microbes, it's a very good antimicrobial thing. Okay, you can have the juice once in a while, no problem. Intermittent fasting. Okay, Ramesh here. Intermittent fasting, as far as India goes, is not a very new concept. In those days, our elders used to eat only twice, once at about 10:30 and evening at about 5:36. Okay, and the gap used to be really long. So, but the thing is that they used to sleep at 8:30. I would say that is extremely important here. It is not how many hours you fast, it's also how many hours you sleep and when you get that sleep. So if you are for intermittent fasting, the so-called intermittent fasting is what our elders used to follow, Ramesh. Okay, if you follow that to the T, you will be perfectly fine. That means you get up in the morning, you go. I know that you are a farmer. Okay, you can go into your field, come back, wash yourself about 10:30. You can have a meal. Okay, again go do some work, and again in the evening at about 5:30 have one more small meal, and go to bed early at about 8 o'clock. Perfect health. But if you feel that your sleep is getting destroyed because you have got delayed because you have got work, then push your dinner a little bit. I don't say that you have to have at 5:30 and then sleep at 11 and then start getting acidic. How come there is no particular rasa for spicy? There is. Okay, spicy is called katu. Aravind, it is called katu. Okay, madra, amla, lavana, tikta, katu, kashaya. Spicy food is called katu. It is there. Okay, three katu, you would have, I don't know whether you have heard about three katu. Three katu is the three spicy things. That is dry ginger, pepper, and long pepper. Okay. Santosh Kumar. Yeah, see, autoimmune condition. If you see, when you know that something is an autoimmune condition, and if you start, that means some point your immunity got compromised and you got this issue. And if you keep on giving immunosuppressants, so for when your immunity got compromised, you got this issue. So if you have to get healed, your immunity has to come back, right? But if you keep on giving immunosuppressants and keep on suppressing the immunity, how will the body recover? This is a question. Okay, but if you give the immunosuppressant, the person gets relieved from the symptoms for the time being. Okay, the symptoms are not being shown. It means in the highway, if you look at the highway where the pain, the inflammation, that is a smooth ride, but the disease is still progressing from the service lane. Okay, so this dose might not be enough, then you have to go for steroids. So it keeps on going like that. But what Ayurveda basically tries to do is, Ayurveda tries to create an environment where the body's immunity slowly starts coming up and it starts taking over. Okay, and Santosh Kumar, nobody can give you 100% guarantee for anything, not even a fever. Okay, it's not in our hands. According to the principles, yes, once you do the panchakarma and you basically follow a proper lifestyle, medicines and food and all those things, oh my god, you'll have fantastic results as far as arthritis, rheumatic disorders go, psoriasis go, lot of things, Ayurveda really works well. Yes, ADHD is basically, yeah, you may call that person is not able to focus on one thing for a lot and he keeps on shifting. So, attention, uh, yes, it is basically, we can consider that to be predominantly Vata. Okay. And nowadays, I have noticed that a lot of people have got attention deficit because might be because of social media also. They always want to get entertained. The moment you have got power failure or your connectivity goes, you'll start people start feeling restless. Lot of people are going to depression also because of this, because they are over dependent and addicted to things which entertain them. Okay, that's a problem. Yes, it is vata imbalance. Samardiya, what foods would you suggest for someone with poor digestion? Poor digestion is because, as I said, your Agni is slightly on the lower side. So when your Agni is low, don't overload it. Okay, go for, to start off, you can start with what do you call medicines. Yes, you can take ashtachurna, or even when you cook rice, when you're cooking rice, I would say start with the watery portion, the kanji. Okay, you strain and take the, start with that, start with liquid food, make it semi solid, and then slowly come to solid foods. Give it time. Okay, each and every food which you cook can be processed in panchakola. You make a note of it, panchakola. Okay, pipili moolam, chabyam, chitraka, nagara. These five things put together is panchakola. So when you put that in the food, and so it basically makes it slightly spicy. Okay, so it is self-digestive. So anything you can garnish a little bit, then you can slowly get into vegetable soup. You have to slowly build it up. Okay, and don't, just because you feel that you're feeling weak. Okay, you suddenly somebody asks you to take nuts and dates and that and this, those things will not digest. It will only complicate your problem. Give it time, slowly, with good guidance, you can build it back. Milk, curd, and all those things are very good things. If, as I said, if you digest your food really well, okay, Shashikar, you can actually get things back. Okay, polished rice is bad. Go for good rice. Okay, which has got the bran on top of it. Okay, stick to traditional foods, Shashikar. Okay, you'll get a lot of things from that. Okay. I get up at 5. What time do you go to bed is one more question. Okay. You get up at 5, do your sadhanas. Yes. Your first meal is at 10. Great. That's not a problem. Okay. That is absolutely no problem. Provided you don't sleep very late after the whole food is digested after 1 hour or so. There's nothing at all in your system, and you go to bed with your metabolism high, then throughout the night, your metabolism is slow, even though it's very low, but the moment you get up, you're feeling extremely hungry. Then that's not a right thing to do. If you get up at 5, I would say somewhere around 7 hours of sleep is something you should always get. See that by 9:30, 10, you are done. I'm already skinny. Just walking for a few kilometers regularly reduce my weight furthermore. For somebody who's skinny, if you are Vata Prakriti, your exercise should be only mild. Okay. You might not lose weight. I don't think so. If you are having a food properly on time, moderate exercise is okay for you, moderate stretching. And you also have to do a little bit of strengthening, what do you call strengthening exercises. Low weight dumbbells, 2.5 kilos or 3 kilos of dumbbells, multiple times. Keep yourself fit. Don't overdo with exercise. You cannot stay awake at night also. Okay, you cannot do vigorous exercises. Flying or traveling and all those things might be slightly problematic for you because you are skinny or more of Vata. Yeah. Ushna or Shita might not be that, there are different parts of the plant which can act in different ways. Yes. Okay. Because how do I let me try to give you an example. Okay. See, Aranda, castor, let me take castor. Okay, castor seed, the oil which comes from the castor seed will actually give you loose motions. Okay, and it is very good for Vata disorders. Now, if you look at the root, okay, when you see castor is called Gandharva Hasta. It's a very interesting name. Gandharva is a celestial singer. Hasta is his hand. They believe that his hand is webbed. Is webbed. So if you look at the leaves of castor, it is webbed. It is like webbed, so it's called Gandharva Hasta. Interesting name. So the seed gives the oil, which is actually good for Vata. The root is actually good to increase your. It brings the Vata down, but it doesn't give you loose motions like the oil. Okay, but if you look at the tender leaves of Aranda is actually given with milk for jaundice. It is Pittahara. Okay, so different part of the plant can behave in different ways. Okay, Aravind, that's beautiful. That's how beautiful nature is. Yes, Bhupendra, constipation elderly people is especially because the gut is extremely dry. Okay, I would say if you start taking Triphala Churnam, yes, 1 or 2 few days you'll have motions, but at the end of the day, Churna is something which again dries. Okay, so it might again lead to constipation. So for an elderly person, after probably 56, 50, 55, 60, they reach the Vata stage. For them, something which is oily is always the best thing. Castor oil is actually very good for you to consume. You can mix castor oil and ghee together and have no problem. After a point of slowly reduce the amount of castor oil in that, slowly increase the amount of ghee. And then you'll notice that once your gut slightly starts becoming lubricated, you can completely remove castor oil from it and only survive on ghee. And that is very healthy for you. Most welcome, Ramesh. Poha is light. Okay, it's not very difficult to digest. Okay, because it is ruksha, it is dry. Okay, it can increase Vata dosha. So normally when we eat poha, people add oil on top of it and they add poha. When you take poha, we call that upma. As upma, when you take poha, you add oil into it. Otherwise, poha is put into milk and had. Okay, you have, or poha, you add jaggery into it. So poha, because it can increase Vata, you add coconut into it. You add things which will counterbalance it. Okay, it is not difficult to digest, but it will increase Vata, as you said. Yes, Divya, Panchakarma is, let me put it this way, Panchakarma, Ayurveda is basically meant for 2 reasons. One is Swasthasya Swasthya Rakshana. That means keeping a healthy person healthy. That's maintenance of health. And Adurasya Vigara Prashanam, curing the diseased. So for both things, we use Panchakarma. So if you are somebody who has got absolutely no issues at all, you still have to undergo, as just like your car goes in for service, you also have to go in for service. I would say at least yearly once. But if you have got issues like arthritis and all those things, I would say twice a year, once in 6 months. If you get in for treatment, do it properly. You can definitely maintain it. Okay, so Panchakarma is not basically for the diseased person only. It is also for somebody who wants to maintain their health. Okay, so we are coming to an end of this session. Next session, we will probably come up with something interesting. Hope you like these talks. If yes, probably you can mention that. Okay, we will come up next week with some other topic. Rather, we'll have some topic and then we can get into the question and answer sessions. Okay. So good night. Namaste.